Searching podcasts for Dave, and one more time.
And 3.
Number 2.
I'm gonna give it a 1.
Woohoo!
America, you know it. You miss us? Hope you did. We're back, and you are
You're welcome.
so welcome. Hi, everybody. How are you? I'm Dave.
I'm Juan.
And this is Dave and Juan.
More time.
Thank you. Lovely Sunday morning. Well, it is around here. Time stamping this post-Easter Sunday.
Post-Easter. That's right. We had the first time we're back since Easter.
I was going to ask if you had any candy laying around the house still, but you said you didn't pile up any last week.
We didn't do any candy, man. I didn't get any candy.
Okay.
Yeah, we went to my dad's for Easter. Yeah, that's right. We did because we recorded on Monday. Yeah, so no candy.
My wife, like I said, we feel obliged, and it sits there, and the candy's not from me. See, I'm the old guy, so like for years she would get the Easter Bunny, which still runs
Right.
by the Morton household, would get me sugar-free chocolates because, dude, I'm old and want to fight the diabetes. I mean, it is.
I ought to fight it.
Well, so that's normally what I would do. I'd run through mine, and then, we got other stuff laying around. That's one of those things. I think you got about a 1, maybe 2 day window of Easter. Like you better either eat the stuff you really like or hide it.
Right, because I think, then by midweek, you're going to the candy that you don't really like. But I want some candy now.
You like it more and more come Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Right. By Friday, if it's still there, nobody wants it, so just trash it.
We got some stuff on the table downstairs. It's not for me, but then you walk by and realize my wife started hitting it. So I'm like, oh, no. That's like once the label has been ripped off of it, it's fair game. Fair game.
See, my wife and daughter both do I think their way of compensating for buying stuff they don't need is to then buy me something that I don't need.
Sure.
And act like it's a treat or whatever. So twice, they came home. I bought you something at the store. And it's like these Starburst jelly beans that you only see them around Easter. And Joey says, "Oh, don't eat the whole bag at once." And it's like, well, I'm gonna leave this bag on the little end table, whatever you call the table, by the chair. And
I'm gonna eat them till they're gone.
Right. And then tonight I'm gonna wake up with the shakes from the sugar crash.
Oh, I remember that was your treatment for too much sugar is more sugar.
Got to go eat more sugar.
Juan cannot stand the shakes from the sugar crash, and that's in the medical journals, I'm pretty sure. You ever do it like I do?
That picture, man.
Your mind will do some weird things with you when you just kind of convince yourself against all common sense what you end up doing. So I'll be whatever it is. I'll be eating something that's not good for me, whatever it is, and it's a bag. Or that's the other thing. It's always the joke. How many servings are in the bag? Yeah. You open it up. So I was like I saw something one time says, everything's one serving if you're committed to it.
It's far more than what you would consider.
Oh, you'd be eating. I've done this like with ice cream. I do this with whatever, and you get to a point where if I leave what's left here, there's not going to be enough.
It's a rationalization
for me to be happy. Like I know I'm going to be discouraged if I come by here again and I want this, but it's like it's not. So you know what? I will save myself future disappointment.
Right. I'm like that with if nobody's around and I got pizza rolls that I got to eat and I want 16, but there's 20 in the bag. It's like, bro, why am I gonna put 4 back in there?
The fact that you want 16 is pretty hysterical, man.
Dude, I'm consistent.
You got yourself figured out. I am a 16. I just love the fact you eat pizza rolls.
I love pizza rolls.
Who doesn't? Who does it? But I don't think I've had a pizza roll in 10 years or better.
Look, when we do this thing on Sundays about 7, and I'm just getting in or didn't have time to eat dinner, about halfway through the podcast, I smell the pizza roll because that's my instruction
That's
when
it.
I come upstairs. I put the pizza rolls in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
How many you want? 16.
16. Well, that way, and if you stick to it, then every fourth time you have pizza rolls, right? You got four. If you got four left each time, no, I take it back. We have fourth, right? Yeah.
I don't know how many are in the bag. I don't know.
I'm flexing
Oh,
myself.
so I could go 17. I should go 17 and balance it out.
Well, I don't know. I'm flexing my South Louisiana, my South Lafourche math here. So it's if
Yeah,
there's
no,
20 in the
if I
bag,
had 4 left at the end, and if I should have 1 extra.
that fifth time you have pizza rolls ought
Yeah.
to be that's the lanyap pizza roll dinner. The lanyap, that's the good one. That's the one that's the one that you actually enjoy eating because you can say, you know what, I had control. I didn't eat
Right.
20 pizza rolls
Treating myself.
the last 4 times, so I had these left over. And what's your favorite flavor?
Oh, it's just a little mixed ones, whatever.
It's all the same flavor, right? Doesn't matter. When you're talking pizza rolls, it don't matter.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a flavor.
It's pizza roll flavor, right?
Whatever's in that big bag.
Pepperoni-ish,
Yeah, I
sausage.
got some pepperoni in there. I think I might have a little pretend meat. I don't know.
It is, and because that's what programmed, and that's why some of the most evil and people in the world, but master marketers are the food. Big food, and they give us these bags and these boxes that have it's almost dang near healthy looking, right? I'll bet you I haven't seen the picture on a bag of pizza rolls in a while, but I bet you it looks wholesome, right?
And it's food photography is an art.
It's the kind of thing that you say that don't look like I'm poisoning my body. That looks like something I might have come across in nature that I plucked from a tree. And you read the ingredients and don't do that because
Yeah, no, I have no idea what's in a pizza roll or what's in ain't nothing real.
well, that's the point. At some point, it's like, wait, hang on, you got more than one kind of meat in there, but you couldn't identify the
No.
first thing if you dissected a pizza roll. Right?
Now this will be the thing, if Robert Kennedy Jr. has his way, it'll all look the same because it will be, I'm sure it's all just dyed to look different.
I'm all for that, and I'm so tired. I'm so tired right now of the fights going on. Everything,
No, Lord.
literally
Gotta go
everything
to court.
anybody in this administration does it's a fight. Even like it's bizarro world. It's like, hey, can you just, you're going to fight on that? Like the dude saying, hey, look, the rest of the world knows don't put this crap in your food. It does nothing but possibly harm you, especially
Right.
children. And
Right. Who's got the biggest obesity problem in the world? That'd be the United States.
well, there would
Who's the
be.
country that uses all the worst ingredients in food? That'd be the United States.
That'd be us. What do they call the GMOs?
Mhm.
Genetically modified.
Yeah.
Is that what's the O for?
Is it organisms? Can't be organisms. I don't know.
Whatever it is, but stuff you ain't supposed to eat.
Right.
Right? Stuff you ain't supposed to eat. But so, rock on. Hopefully they're going to get there. But yeah, as we say that, as I speak right now, there's a big old tray of pigs in a blanket downstairs. That's kind of, I bought a bunch of supply. We had something coming up a while back. And we go to these things where people bring all this great food and stuff, but it's always, man, just whoop up some pigs in a blanket are always popular. Yo, you can show up at a bring a dish, and we typically bring more than that, bring desserts and everything, just out of shame, like out of shame you don't just show up with a big old tray or whatever of pigs in a blanket. But man, they're always popular. But I overbought the supplies, so before things go bad.
But that's good nibbling food, man. You get, eat one, go back a little later, grab another one. Doesn't feel like you're eating a lot.
One,
And
I
the day
don't
you've
know.
eaten 17 pigs in a blanket.
Yeah, I don't know how other people process things and what's supposed to be a meal. And I guess they'd like, I guess in the old day, well, in the old days, growing up, we were kids, mom made lunch if you were there for lunch, if you weren't at school, right? And supper, we didn't have dinner, right? It was in the lunch and
Right. My
supper.
dad still refuses to say, he chastises if you said dinner.
Yeah, dinner's that's a Yankee word. So
Yeah.
supper, and then breakfast was sort of you're kind of on your own. Now breakfast is usually just toast, toast and butter, stuff like that. But I guess we ate together, man. I don't really
Oh
remember.
no, we never, did not eat together.
Oh, okay, you see, I don't. I think I know it was like food was ready. It's time, it's.
Yeah, okay. My mom stayed home. My dad was a farmer, so he'd come home for lunch. And I think she'd make lunch. Uh, but if she made lunch, like cook stuff, that's also what you had for dinner.
Sure.
Um,
What's for
and
dinner? What's a supper, Mom?
yeah,
Look at what you eating right now.
yeah, it's on the stove. Look at it. There wasn't no choices. It's
And it was on the stove. That's the
yeah,
other thing. It sat on the stove
right.
all day.
Yeah, in the Magnolite pot.
Hey, look, Magnum lights are magic. People don't understand that. I don't care what the ambient temperature is of the or like you said, the pilot light would keep it
Yeah,
good.
pilot light, dude. If it needed to stay warm, you moved it off the burner over the pilot light.
Well, I know sometime in the last 4 or 5 years we did this, but we used to joke. My Aunt Mary, God bless her, she always had the New Year lunch. It was a
Hmm.
day, right? It would stretch
Yeah.
out from lunch to whatever. And she did a bunch of cook. People brought food, but she did a bunch of cooking. But she started cooking like probably the Wednesday before the Sunday, or like it was. So there'd be certain things that
Yeah, it was 4 days when
now it's
you.
mostly stuff like breads and stuff like that, but yeah, it was always interesting. I kind of I'd move more toward the anything I knew had to be refrigerated, right?
Yeah,
You kind of feel like that's still cold. That's good. That one's of course that's always when you're in trouble. Anything with mayonnaise, they always say
yeah,
that's
huh?
that's the that's what that, and I had uncles and that and my dad's generation, they were totally comfortable with, man, anything you could throw in the pot for this gumbo, that gumbo. I mean, it could be who only knew what was in there, right? Like you joke about, like you can look at a pizza roll, you can't tell what kind of meat it is. You show up, there'd be a gumbo or something else. It'd be like, well, what's
See,
up?
that's how my older son will cook, where it's like, they're not wasting any food. So if there's something that's about to go bad, they'll just put it in with something else in the most unlikely dish combo that you've ever. Yeah.
That's
Uh,
it's about to go bad.
right. I'm not wasting this.
I'm we've apparently established that none of us want to eat this,
Yeah.
but
So,
what we'll do is we'll
well,
contaminate our new food
yeah.
with the
Yeah.
old
And,
food.
and make a meal that's food that don't go together.
Yeah.
Make it go together.
What am I having here? Well,
Yeah. So I don't, yeah, my mealtime is not an experiment.
that's macaroni and cheese with rice and gravy and a
All mixed together.
few bags of croutons we got the last time we were yeah, whatever.
So, talking about food and bringing stuff. So we're in like a little like a married couples Bible study group. And they get together once a month, and it's as much, it's a little Bible study, but it's also social aspect. So I guess you'd call it a potluck thing. Somebody picks, or the people who host it say, okay, here's what we're gonna have for this one, and
Okay.
now everybody else pick something that they're going to bring. So we had it last Thursday, and my wife was on spring break, and
So at your house last Thursday.
no, it's always at the same people's house.
Okay.
Um,
Let them clean that up.
yeah, we'll stay and help. I don't want people at my house to that extent. The but so well, Joey was on. She's a teacher, so she was on spring break this past week. And so she was out of town. She went visit. Her daughter lives in South Carolina, so she was there for the week.
Okay.
But of course, she had signed up to bring, garlic bread. And I said, I don't know that I'm going without you. We've both done it. He said, no, you have to go. You got to bring bread and stuff.
You got
Um,
with that. Yes, well, yeah, they
eh,
don't care if you show up, but
right.
damn it, you signed up
And
for garlic bread,
But
Juan.
the thing, it's like 20 minutes from my house. So then Thursday, it's like, well, how am I going to get the bread there? Yeah, what am I gonna do? Show up at the time of the thing and then say, all right, I'm not staying, but here's the bread. Uh, so
Sounds like, well,
Thursday,
that's what I would have done. I would
yeah,
have probably.
Thursday during the day, I text Joey and I said, I don't think I'm gonna go. Why don't you just Venmo them the money for the bread? And she said, no, it's not that. You have to go. She's busy doing stuff. You can't, blah, 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 blah. And so then I come up with, I miss you really bad. And if I go, it's only going to make me feel more alone. And so that's my stuff. And then, all right, stop the lie. Just,
Just stop the lying.
I bought it on Walmart app and I paid more to have it delivered to their house. So just forget about it.
Nice.
I said, okay, well, that was good. Good move on your part.
So you got what you wanted in the end anyway.
That's right. I
And you
think they
know,
could have done without the garlic bread.
I think so. But dude, you signed up for garlic bread. You know, it's not like you signed up for napkins and plates. It's garlic bread, man. If I got an envie for garlic bread, and I'm
Sitting
like, and
there,
I'm like looking
man,
at,
that spaghetti's gonna be good, but you know what's gonna make it even
yeah,
better?
I'm looking at our Bible study couples group menu, and they got garlic bread on there. I
Yeah,
show
I
up, I'll
wasn't
be
gonna
like,
go, but they got garlic bread. Praise the Lord.
Moody Juan. Where's Juan at with the garlic bread?
Yeah.
Man, I never did trust that guy. He's on there for garlic
Like it's
bread.
raining and
Well, and you aren't totally lying to your wife about I miss you. I'm sure you do. That's just, myself. I travel. I miss,
yeah.
but you know how that works, man. You don't travel. Like you travel, man, you miss your house, you miss your wife, you miss your kids when they're there with you. You miss everything while you're gone. And what's it take? About half an hour when you get back where they're kind of tired of you already?
Oh yeah. It's because when I picked her up at the airport Friday at 6:30, it's so and she hadn't been flying that long. She had a direct flight. And so we're talking, and I said, all right, well, obviously you missed that phone and being on Facebook for the past 2 or 3 hours more than you missed me. So go ahead and see who commented on the pictures of your grandbaby, and
That's
I'll just drive and listen to the draft.
but you know what, man?
I know that was totally fine.
That's an unfortunate. We all do that. My wife will throw that at me too sometimes. And it's sort of we all spend more time than we should on our phones. And I'm to the point now, and it's weird, right? I mean, I'm not, I'm far, far, far from the generation that they say we've ruined with phones, but we're kind of ruined, I guess,
Hmm.
a bit as well. But I don't watch a lot of TV anymore. I just don't. And so I'll just watch the videos, or I'll do news. I'll
Yeah.
do, a lot of stuff either on my computer in the office or here. But yeah, I mean, that's sort of the annoying one when you got whatever you're scrolling. What are you doing? So here's the point. In the old days, I guess either husbands or wives or significant others got fussed for reading the paper
Yeah.
while you were sitting in the same room. Guess that paper's more important. What's in
Yeah,
that
I'll
paper?
do stuff because we're sitting out watching TV, and I'll notice she's on her phone because I happen to not be at that moment.
Right.
Um,
Correct.
and so I'll say, "You need me to pause it?"
Newsflash. Newsflash. I don't see watching TV together as I think a lot of times watching TV unless it's a show you're both following. Just to watch TV together to be doing something together is an odd. It's
Well,
it's an it's an odd exercise because wait a minute, are we watching? Because if we're watching, I can't pay attention to.
yeah, no, but it's still and it's not if the TV's on and we're both in the living room. I'll say it if it's something we're watching together.
Right.
There's certain shows we watch together, or we'll do the whole binge thing together. Um, and usually anytime she comes back from visiting her daughter, that gets me watching, even more garbage TV because that's what her daughter watches. And
Okay.
so like if I'm watching, Love is Blind because
Yeah.
you want to watch this, don't
I
be on your phone while I'm watching
no,
Love is Blind.
no idea. No idea what any of that stuff is. My wife right now, this moment, and it's been going on for a couple 3 weeks for whatever reason. She started watching Lost.
Oh, dude,
Okay. And that took because this has been going on.
that's a commitment because dude, you got to zone in on that.
Look, look. And so I'll walk downstairs. I have an office upstairs, and when I'm not traveling, like I was gone most of the week, but I'm gone most. I'm in a stretch now where I'm like I'm
Yeah, it's travel
constantly
season for
I'm
you.
tired, man. I'm like it's funny how you fall into a routine where I know, okay, I got this deadline here, this then I gotta get have this written here, have this written here, and I know I'll pace myself. And then we start traveling, man. Your days start getting all thrown apart, like I came home on Saturday, so my weekend felt like it was 10 minutes because most of my Saturday was gone. But so no, so when you got to buy a lot of more croissants because you got to come back and wash your croissants. But when I'm home though, I'm up at my office and I'll be coming and going and she's watching Lost right now. It's Lost on the TV downstairs. Here's the
Yeah.
deal: I got to walk through that living room area to get to whatever I'm going to get, depending on the time of it's what's after hours. She's after she works. And then it's like, am I interrupting the show? Like, you play that game. Am I rude walking through or around without acknowledging and saying, hey, hi, right? But then it's almost like when she reaches to hit the pause, you're like, ah, crap, I should have just shut up. And because,
It's well, no, look, I watched Lost when it aired on network TV,
yeah.
and I watched the whole sucker. And I told people at the end, I said the only person more lost than them at the end of this series was me.
Well, and she knows that already. I even told her that, not in a, cause
But
not that
I
I know.
had friends who would watch it like and look, there's artwork for it and there's Easter eggs and everything. And like, yo,
I've never watched 5 minutes of that show. I don't think I guess, well, I'll say I never will. Who knows? But it's modern, modern technology that we all share stuff and people. It used to be that you only communicated with your shows with close friends. Now it's all online. Everybody comments.
oh
You read
yeah, it's
all the
but again,
memes.
it's also back to the generation we live in. You know, most people, more and more people don't watch TV on a TV.
Right, right.
So the I have, and I'm upstairs at my house. There's one smaller TV in my daughter's room, which I don't know that it ever gets turned on. I'm in a loft area where there ought to be a TV facing me. There's not a TV here. There's not a TV in the extra bedroom because although, you know, I have three TVs in my garage right now. Not TVs set up to watch.
Just okay.
TVs in the garage because I bought a new one a couple of months ago just because I wanted one. So I took that one and put it outside, in the garage, and then the
Yeah.
other two, you know,
TVs used to be like the fireplace of a house. You gathered
yeah,
around the TV. Same thing here in our house right now. So we've got a pretty decent sized game room that whatever. It's got a TV. I don't know the last time that TV's been
yeah,
on. All right. I think yeah, there is. Here's funny. I think there's spare bedroom. There's a TV. That thing probably not even plugged in. Um, down. We have a TV. We have a TV in our bedroom. That thing will go
yeah.
months.
We don't have one in our bedroom. I'm about to put the TVs in the house or where a TV should go just to get them out of the garage. Um,
We watch the TV outside. We have a covered area outside. The TV on the wall outside. That TV probably gets besides the big one inside in the living room.
yeah,
That TV gets used more, and that's just a matter, I think, of turning on the TV sometimes just to have that weird thrill of watching TV outside of your house. Because when you were growing up, there was, you know, put it this way: growing up, that's a rich man, poor man thing. If you had a TV on the front porch or outside, bruh, you were trash. You were trash. Now it's like, oh, you got a TV outside?
yeah. If you got a cover for that TV, man, that's even yeah.
Well, I don't think it's a
Well,
covered area.
so I bought it's who makes the Samsung the frame TV, and you can get, and I guess you can get this on any TV, but there's an app you can buy, and when you put the TV, like you not turn the TV all the way off, and it's almost like a screensaver, but it's really looks like art, uh,
Okay.
on it, like framed art. So for whatever reason, I'm now paying $5 a month for some stupid app,
Oh, you really now?
as though I'm art appreciative.
Eh,
Um,
it's a visual. It changes. I could see that. I just want to know, TV technology. What are they doing? And I gauge it by Sam's because the thing is, you walk into Sam's and it's just, well, at least the one the design near the closest to my house. First thing you encounter basically are the TVs. I mean,
Right.
just massive. They got probably 3 rows of.
Which that works for me because if ever I go to Sam's with my wife, I'll just hang out in that section.
Well, my
Not
thing
that I'm
is,
shopping, but I'm looking.
how do they keep? Because we know technology gets better, it gets cheaper, but what do they keep doing to keep those certain TVs at that $2,000 range? Like at some, you know what I'm saying? Like what kind of improvements? What is the latest in technology that you can continue to get people to pay about 2 grand for a TV that I'm looking here at this other one that's not all that much smaller and the picture looks pretty dang good to me and it's like $400 or 500. And I
Yeah.
know the TV connoisseurs have their
I don't know. I don't know either. This one looked really cool on I tell you on live when you're watching sports and everything. And I had been so I'm done with TV as long as I'm in this house because I've maxed out what can fit in the space
I got
that
you.
is contained for the TV.
Yep.
Um, but so I don't know. But talking about stuff dragging around the house, cleaning up after it. So my daughter had prom this weekend,
All right.
and she went with a friend of this guy she hangs out with. He's from New Orleans though, so he's a swimmer. Uh, Not that that matters.
Well,
But
your
so
daughter's a swimmer. They know each
yeah,
other. This is the
right,
swimmers.
right. So he needed to stay here last night, which is a little weird for me, but it's okay. I get that. They're not getting back till 1:32 in the morning. He's not going to
Correct.
drive back. So that meant we had to clean the what was my son's room, which is now just a vacant room. And so yesterday, in addition to, me mopping and dusting and cleaning this room, and we had to declutter
Yeah.
the
Nothing
room,
worse. Nothing worse, man.
which included taking a desk out of the room that's just tucked into a little nook area and carrying that sucker downstairs and cluttering up my garage with the desk. So I decluttered a room that no one ever goes in
Right.
to add clutter to a room, the garage, that everybody goes in every day.
So at some point, right, depending on who it is.
Right, right.
Obviously, the young man is, you might know him, not know him. Hey, bro.
I've met him a number of times. Nice fella. But again, they're getting home about 2 o'clock this morning. That dude left before I woke up.
Okay, there. So my thing is, I see now again. You're probably, I don't know what the Joey pressure is on that. I know my wife would be the same way.
Oh,
I'd be,
dude, it's insane.
yeah, yeah. I'd
The
be like, hey, bro, listen, nobody usually sleeps in this room,
Yeah,
so don't be bothered by this desk.
right. Yeah, we cleaned the sheets, got
Exactly.
everything out of here.
You're sleeping on
And
fresh
so
sheets.
as his name is Colin. So as I'm leaving or carrying the desk yesterday, I said, so why are we taking this out of here? And she said, well, it just feels like it clutters the room and Colin's going to be sleeping there tonight. And so after a little later, I came back and I told my wife and my daughter, said, here's what our new family motto is going to be. If it's too cluttered for Colin, it's too cluttered. How about we just start picking up for our own selves?
That's too cluttered.
But yeah, so then it's
Um,
because they do the after prom, which is as important as the prom
sure,
for these
nobody cares
kids.
about the prom. I
Right.
mean, they don't.
But wherever they're doing the after prom, I guess there's no parking, so they can't park. And I'm like, well, why are they doing it there? That doesn't, I mean, somebody hosts it or whatever.
Right.
But it's near my mother-in-law's home, my late mother-in-law's home,
Okay.
where my son is now staying.
Okay.
So Riley's friend group, who, they all go with the friend group to the prom. So her 8 or 10, I guess 5 couples are gonna park there and then shuttle to the prom. I mean, to the after party. Well, they also have a theme for the after party, so they've got to come here and change,
Oh, good grief.
which meant we had to provide refreshments to have at the house that had to be laid out. And now you're relying on my son to, okay, here's this basket with a some type of cloth napkin in it. Now, when they call you to go get them before you leave, or before when you know they're on their way back here, pour the chips in this bag and stuff.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm telling my son, I said, here, what you want to do? You want to keep that bag because they ain't gonna eat much of this stuff. You want to put it back in the bag so you can have it.
And whatever you do, move the furniture for Colin. We don't want that guy.
No clutter in here.
Don't want that guy stubbing a toe or a knee on. Well, it. What you gonna do, Juan? That's the old man thing we keep going to. It was not that way.
No, like I asked you this morning when she got up, I said, hey, so did anybody make out with anybody else's date at the prom? And she looked at me like I'm crazy. I said, well, obviously y'all proms aren't as fun as mine was.
Y'all probably did a little different. Anybody after having a few that you weren't supposed to have went to Grand Isle? Man, I still to this day, I cannot believe we did that back then. And it was just common. And I only did it, I think, once. But I knew but even at my age, young, you're talking 15, 16, 17 years old, I knew this is not a good idea. Like, we're going to go to the prom. But of course, here's the deal. We didn't stay at our proms late. I mean, that was the prom. If the prom started at 7, you basically went in, did whatever kind of pictures had to be done. We didn't stay 30 minutes at our prom.
See, they do, you have to be there by 8 and you can't leave until 9:30, 9:45.
Because of the generations that came before.
It ends at 10.
Yeah.
They breathalyze them to go in. But so Riley said at 9:30, everybody's piled up at the door, like waiting for the doors to be open so they can leave.
They breathalyze you to go in. Dude, if they breathalyzed us at our prom, the sponsors couldn't go in.
While I should be thankful that I've never been breathalyzed in my life, my daughter, who probably has never needed to be breathalyzed, has been breathalyzed multiple times.
I take that back. I have been years ago at the radio station.
Oh yeah, you did that whole deal.
Yes. Tina, I want to say Tina, it must have been Tina DeSalvo-Calle. She was probably doing the filming of it. It was something they were doing. Or I don't know if she was there.
Or something.
Right. They brought us, we were in Homa, I think. And it was me, a couple, 3 women, couple guys, it might have been 6 of us. And they had state troopers or trainees or something in the room. And that's what they did. They gave us drinking beer. That's what I was drinking. I was drinking beer. And they'd have us, and we were there, I guess, 2 hours, which is that's a minute, man. 2 hours of drinking. And I don't know what I got up to. I got up to maybe 3 or 4, 5. I don't know. Felt fine, bro. I remember that. The guys
you were in drinking shape then.
The guy's giving me the field sobriety test in front of the other people, and I swear to you, I think I'm nailing it. And he was saying, "Well, this is what he did here." I remember kind of. Granted, I had 5 beers in me in about 90 minutes, so I may have been a bit chatty, a bit, I want to be a little comedic here, and but no, as he was testing me, I was just like, "Man, what are you talking about? Let's go get in the car." That was before the Ron White, the comedian Ron White is just he's the guy that he's hysterical. And he's the guy that he doesn't do it now, but he'd just have a bottle. He'd just stand there on stage with his bourbon.
I think he doesn't drink anymore. No?
He doesn't. He almost died. I mean, he drank nonstop till he was in his late 60s. And doctor basically said, yeah. But here's the other deal. I'm kind of going down different path here with these guys. And I watch Rogan, like those podcasts, and Ron White and these guys and all these older guys who they're very preachy about, or not preachy, but they're talking about they don't drink. We don't drink anymore. They don't. No, but they're doing edibles like crazy. They're smoking pot. They're I think still every now and then mushrooms. I mean, it's so funny. It's like but everybody takes a stance on, yeah, I don't drink anymore. Really? Wow, you're totally sober? No, well, no. They're doing. I got news for you. Now maybe a doctor can tell me where one's better for you than the other, but I'm not giving a lot of credit to the person that's eating basically what is it? I don't see
It's
you know
THC stuff,
THC.
or
That's not my game. I don't know
yeah,
anything, but gummies. I'm sorry, you still
yeah.
you know,
I can't fathom that
but
whole deal.
but that whole thing, they filmed this and stuff, and I thought I did okay, but they apparently
You were ready to drive to Grand Isle.
man, look. I didn't drive to Grand Isle. I was also stupid. Listen, man, this is the other thing that when you're young and you just I say you don't know, but I always felt like I was safe. I especially younger. I would never be driving under the influence, okay, ever. But man, how many times I got in a car with someone who was? I'll bet you anything. I have helped people get to the car to drive me home because I'm not driving your car, bro. I don't think I'm insured. I still remember, man. To this day, I don't know how it happened, and I was not. Thankfully, I was not that. I wasn't bad off. Me and Corey Ogeron. I'll call him out by name. We're in his car, I think. Yeah, and we went to New Orleans back when it used to be. What was it? The yacht club. What's the thing on the like?
There
It
was
was
a
a
New Orleans yacht
Lake
club.
like Lake Pontchartrain or yeah, no, some
Yeah, lakefront.
who knows. We probably didn't belong there anyway. We were in college age or out of college, and we went, and it was a horrific fog night. Now you didn't know that we didn't have our apps back then. We didn't
Right.
have maps. We didn't have right,
You didn't know that at 3 o'clock in the morning the visibility would be 2 feet.
dude. And I remember getting home, but I'm thinking, but Corey drove, so Corey's. I'm assuming he knows where we're going. He's done this before. He was so out of it. We get back. Well, he said, "Bro, I can't drive."
The GPS didn't tell him where to go.
Jeez. So, I mean, it was hard getting out of the parking lot with the visibility. Now, what geniuses at it might have been 1, 2 in the morning, get in a car on the lakefront, going back to Cut Off, Louisiana,
Yeah.
right? And I want to say, and like I said, I know I had not had that many or much at all because I'm sure that place was way more expensive than we should have been. I mean, there's no way, right? There's no way it was too expensive for me to have any much. So I was probably, yeah, I think I was okay. Of course, I'm the guy that had 5 beers in front of cops and, on camera and they're testing me and I think I'm okay. But dude, I remember on 90, I think it was 90, and I'm having to like elbow Corey every now and then, bro, where do we, and then we finally get to the bayou. And here's the funny thing. By the time we got to in Raceland, where you can, you can either take the 308 or LA1
Uh-huh.
side.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even remember if we did 308 or LA1, but I remember thinking, oh, at least I know where I'm at. But then the other part is, oh, now you're driving along the bayou.
Right, right. At least on 90, you were straight shot.
Kind of. Now you're driving on the bayou with a bunch of other. And who do you run into at one? I hope you don't run into them. Who's on the road at 1:30, 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the morning?
Other people who ought to not be driving.
Ought to not be driving, or cops.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But man, hey, Guardian Angel was sitting on the dashboard. Somehow, finally pulled into West 93rd Street and cut off.
Oh
And
yeah, I can remember driving back from Thibodeau going to when I lived in my parents' house where you got a sore back the next day because you're trying to lean so far into the windshield because you can't see much past it.
I left Corey sleeping in that car in front of our house. I didn't even wake him because I was like, I ain't, because I was in we were in college, but it must have been on break or something. And I'm not bringing this guy in my. And he only lived 2 miles away, but back that way. But like, I can't drop him off at his house.
Yeah, that was a tough 2 miles.
Yeah, so I parked in front of the house. I said, "Bruh, we home. We at my house. So
Yeah, I'll see you in the morning.
sleep it off, because I'm not. Yeah,
Yeah, take the keys out of the ignition.
so sometime between that time and the time I woke up, My man was gone, and he's still around. So we all made it.
There you go.
We all did good.
So big sports weekend around. Had the NFL draft.
NFL draft.
But even bigger in the Semino family. Yeah. My dad taking the competition at the Council on Aging.
Man.
Down in, representing Assumption Parish. I guess they were going against, probably Northern Lafourche because he was in Chack Bay. Came home with 2 gold medals.
Juan's dad is 90, right?
90.
And just dominated. Like they're probably going to ban. They should have tested him for performance enhancing drugs immediately following the contest. Like, sorry, Mr. Semino, you just shattered records. Now, what were his events?
His events were casting for distance and accuracy.
Oh, I mean, fishing line?
A fishing line casting.
Nice.
This must have been the accuracy week. And then the second event, I think, was like cornhole, but you're throwing washers in a smaller box in a smaller hole.
Oh, the guys I tailgate with play that the game's called washers. That's all they play that. Oh, and they know they're so serious. It's one of these things. It's one of these games that I don't play simply because y'all care about this too much. Like I don't no. But they have fun with it, and it's also the kind of game obviously you can play with many beers in you, apparently.
Right.
In fact, it helps.
But you'll see, like at tailgates, people cornhole, and I've seen people lugging this thing. Yeah, same thing at the beach. You see people and like, bruh, it ain't fun enough for me to have to carry this thing anywhere.
Unless you got a sponsorship from Johnson's Brocks that requires you to lug that thing everywhere. But good for him, man. Well, that's good.
This week he goes to Paulina, and it's the 1 mile walk, and the distance and accuracy with either a softball or football. So this is gonna be a little more athletic.
You got to warm up for that.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm not quite there, right? But I would have to warm up before to compete anyway, right? That's the other thing. Those of you that are younger, those of you that may be in your, late 20s, early 30s, whatever, appreciate the time in your life that you could go from sedentary, just doing whatever, and somebody says, "Hey, bro, you want to shoot some hoops? You want to go play a little, go throw the football around," and you could do it and not do anything to prep and not feel it.
Not feel a thing.
Or the next day.
Yeah.
Right? Can't do that anymore, man. Like you show me something that's going to require, I've got to exert in a manner in which I'm not used to exerting. Hang on. This is going to be, but that's good, man. Throwing
I'm happy. I'm proud of him. He was excited.
I can't wait for you to be 90.
Nah, bro, they ain't going to be
competing, Juan.
I went and get my annual physical the other day, and I told the doctor, I said, all right, just keep in mind, I am about as active as a 35-year-old who lives in his parents' basement playing video games all day.
Well, and with that baseline, you said, wow, you're doing good, Juan.
Yeah, doing all right. So
by the time I'm 90, I can only imagine what the what would the Olympics be? Can you pee?
Yeah, not hit your toes.
Hey, wait a minute. Yeah, I think I can do that one. Can you find your car?
Yeah, I got this little button on it that'll make the horn blow.
Speaking of, I don't know, just not speaking of peeing, but I guess I am. I spent some time in Dallas this week, a good bit, and do a lot of retail stuff. I was in a lot of Walmarts. Love me some Walmart. By the way, Dallas Walmarts, man, they're nice. I don't want to hear anything about that. We got not that the stores here around here. Some of these Walmarts are freaking nice, y'all.
I'm telling you, and I think somewhere around show number 5, we gave the advice that it ought to be a priority for a real estate agent to take you to the local Walmart in the neighborhood that you're trying to move into. Some are nice, some not so much. The
Correct.
Nice ones, dude, it's like, oh man.
100%. I'm like, look at this. Most of the Walmarts I visited in Dallas were nicer than a lot of the airports that I end up in. I'm telling you, man, super nice. But the one thing that got me, um, especially in that, maybe people are taller in Dallas. When you walk up to a urinal, there's a certain height expectation.
Right. You don't want to have to arc it.
Dude, I wanted to like go find the Walmart manager who went, and they change every few years, so wouldn't it? But I just like who was the design crew that came in? I'm not a short guy. I mean, I'm not tall. I'm 6 foot tall. Okay, well, I used to be 6 foot. I'm probably like 5'11", 5'10" and a half now. I stand next to my sons now, and I realize I used to be, same height, maybe looking a little bit lower. Now I'm like, oh, my sons are both taller than me now. And it's not because they keep growing; it's because I'm going the other way. But you walk up to you know what I'm saying? You shouldn't walk up to her. You only go, whoa, hang on now. That's
Yeah, where's the step stool?
making me get a little closer. What happens is it makes you get a little closer to it than you would care to.
And then you're sanding in. Yeah.
Somebody else's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to. Sorry, y'all. That's
That's what it's like in the men's room.
That's what it's like. Heading up to Dallas on I did that on Thursday. I drove up on Thursday morning. And I guess I'd seen where there may be some bad weather up around Dallas, but you kind of, bro, on I-45, which is the main road coming through for the most part, one of the main roads going from Houston to Dallas, probably about 10 minutes out of the first stop I had to make in a place called Mansfield. When you look at a radar, and you've got the various colors, and like the chart might have yellow, green, red, orange, whatever. And then you see some that are like the color of the clouds are not even on the app. Like the purplish, whatever. I hit one of those. Could not see. I'm in a rental car,
Wow.
right? A Kia. And when I went to pick up my rental car, they said, "Oh, Mr. Martin, I'd rented a small SUV. They didn't have it." So I said, "Give me whatever you got. I don't care." So I got a Kia. Lovely car, rides about 4 inches off the ground.
Yeah. So man, you're hitting that water.
I'm on I-45. I can't it kind of circle back. I talked about driving with Corey where it was the fog. I mean, and then everybody's got their flashers on.
Dude, I hate that.
They're slowing down. People are pulling off the interstate. That doesn't
Which
really
is
help.
the most dangerous thing in the world.
So I'm trying,
Now I'm gonna see your lights, and I'm gonna think that's a lane.
and I'm on the phone. So there's these people, friends of mine from back in Georgia, who they're great people, love them to death, and they had to call me for different reasons. But it was one of these. I was on the phone with one of them for dang near an hour, and then the wife called me later on. Just anyway. So I was basically talking. Believe it or not, sometimes I'll just let people talk, just because my job is to listen. My job is just get that off your chest, kind of stuff, right? And then I'm trying to not be rude because she's in the middle of a pretty, personal, family thing. But again, just, bro, I can barely hear her with the sound of, to the point where she says, "Dave, I'm hearing." Oh, she heard lightning. Lightning struck so close to me, dude. Like, and I mean, it's one of those explosions.
She heard you go, "Oh man."
I didn't say anything. She heard it. She goes, "Oh, are you going in rain?" I was like, "I cannot even see the road." I said, "I've got an exit coming up in 2 miles, that I will not be able to see." "Oh, let me let you go." So yeah, that's when you're driving thinking, what decisions have I made in my life that I am right now sitting in the middle of I-45? And by the way, shout out to the Amazon truck driver in the middle of this crap that goes by me, probably doing 45 miles an hour, which at that point, 45 miles an hour on that road was like doing 200 on
yeah, dude. Yeah, got to get. If you don't get his package delivered, you don't go home.
and through a wall of water on that car.
You. Yeah.
You're driving where
no matter how fast your windshield wipers are moving.
No, impossible.
There's going to be about a second and a half where you're totally blind.
It was more like 5 seconds, bro, because the speed I was going, and I just got caught in the exact, just funneling that water off to the point I had to hit brakes to try to get out of this dude's.
Hope that the road continues straight.
And I get to where I'm going, and I'm looking at didn't have an umbrella in the car. I got a new umbrella now, Juan. I got an $18 big umbrella from the Walmart in Mansfield, wherever the heck we are.
I know there's a Raising Cane's in Mansfield.
Raising Cane's everywhere, man.
Well,
you don't become the richest guy in Louisiana by not having
Yeah.
Raising Cane's everywhere.
Yeah,
So
I
that was
just
that.
don't
Now
know.
we talked
Yeah.
about before we jumped off. So sports was your dad. That's the
Hmm.
biggest sports news.
That's
And
right.
then the NFL draft. And the flags have been at half staff all across the country
Dude, it's
this week.
yeah.
And everybody thinks it's because of the Pope. It's not. It's because Shedeur Sanders was not drafted until, was it the fifth round?
The fifth round, pick 144. He was the second quarterback picked by a team that many thought would pick him early in the first round, the Cleveland Browns.
But wait a minute. I kind of missed that. The Browns had drafted another
The
quarterback.
Browns draft the Browns are a terrible organization to begin with because now there's video of Dion from a few years back saying that there's no way he'd let his children play for the Browns.
Correct.
Um, but so the Browns have
I know they got Joe
what's his,
Flacco.
they got Joe
He's
Flacco,
going to play, by the way. That guy's going to start.
but what's his name? Deshaun.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, he's not going
Deshaun.
to play. He's probably out for the year. He's got all the
The
money, though. He's
They
got all the money.
traded for a fairly young fella, but I don't think he's that good from the Steelers. So they have him. Then they drafted another quarterback, like in the third round.
I got to tell you, man, I totally forgot that they drafted. I pulled it up here. They got Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, that's
Kenny,
the guy they traded for to get.
that's guy, you know what? Hey, all shout out to the Picketts out there. I'm sure it's a wonderful, that name just don't sound
No,
like
that's
an,
not a good quarterback name. That'd
I
be a good
remember when he came
defensive
out.
back name, Joe Pickett.
Yeah, Pickett. Exactly. You don't want a quarterback last name Pickett. But so yeah, Kenny Pickett and then Dylan Gabriel. That must be the other
Yeah,
guy
I
they
don't know
drafted.
him.
Well, that's got to be the guy. You said they drafted a quarterback before Shador?
Right, right. I don't know who he is. I'm saying so.
Whatever. So here's the
The
deal, and I will confess, it's not nice. It's probably not Christian of me, but I, like lots of folks, took a certain amount of glee.
dude, I bet you the second, third, fourth round, and fifth round have higher viewership than ever in
Right.
the history of the draft. It's like watching paint dry. I watched it, and you talk about the rain. So during the second round, I'm driving back from picking up my wife at the airport, and we had similar rain
Yeah.
coming, so where I couldn't hear the radio. So I'm voice texting my son. I'm saying, "Hey, it's too loud for me to hear the radio with the rain. Did he get picked yet?"
That is okay. That is both great. I mean, so the NFL got a lot of attention on that. I just liked watching Mel Kiper Jr. That
Dude,
fool
man,
cry. You'd have sworn it was his son that was not. And but by the way, those of you that don't keep up with this, and I don't blame you if you don't, Shedeur Sanders is the son
he's the
of
son of
Dion,
Deion Sanders.
who was the coach at
Um,
Colorado. Used to be. He's one of the best football players to ever play. He's been on. He was a All Pro, Hall of Fame.
right, Deion is up there.
Neon Dion. He's
So,
one of some people argue he may be one of the best, if not the best, cornerback. I guess
yeah,
in history he coached, but he
but
is
he
the
was
ultimate.
always about brand and style.
Right. And he's also the ultimate true coach.
Yeah,
Like any of you who've ever had your kids play on a team that the dad is the coach and the team basically exists to try to make the coach's kid look good.
right.
Dion just took that to the next level.
Right, and they talk about all the stats he had. Well, you had an offense crafted and a
Right.
strategy crafted around getting him stats.
You had and the dude's obvious. Look, he's a good athlete. I mean, he's obvious, but he's not. He was not special. They made it sound that way. His record in college was not that fantastic. Every time they
No, I
played a
think he was
good team,
2-7 against teams with winning records.
right? And now, granted, the team itself was not good,
But
and that
this
that
is what irked me most about it. Now, first of all, I think it ought to be a case study in an advanced marketing class.
okay.
Because it proves the value of marketing. They marketed this guy as though he were the second coming of,
Right.
Tom Brady. He's not. And his draft room at his house
They made
Was
it. By the way,
dude, it was a TV studio,
yeah, they
basically.
basically designed a TV studio with his brand,
His brand.
legendary, and his
And
S.
what irks me the most is
Right.
even after the prank call, that if you didn't see that, go look it up. The
Yeah.
prank call, um, he ends the call with "Let's be legendary." So again, it is so brand conscious
And
that
yeah,
that's why you talk about having a dad who's coached his team. I had a friend who's, who's more on the, I guess the DEI persuasion of things, who's saying, oh, blah, 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 blah. He's, all these stats and everything. And part of the pack is people are scared of him because they don't want to coach a guy who's making more money than them. Like, they're all coaching people who are making more money than them.
correct, correct. No, and here's the deal: he was never good enough to put up with what comes with him. Both
Right.
this, and by the
That's
way,
exactly the deal.
you think, listen, man, you think he's going to go to the Browns, which they already crapped on all these times. I mean, you cannot go to a worse situation or a more what should be a more humbling situation. Okay, not going to be. Who do you think this guy's going to be listening to? The coach or his dad?
And that's exactly it. So my
That's the
friend
point.
come in and he said, have you ever interviewed a guy who, doesn't need the job because he's so well off? And it's like, I'm not going into this deal with you, man. I'm just, but what I wanted to respond was, have you ever interviewed a guy whose dad went on the interview first and whose dad will be at the job with him on a daily basis, whether he's physically there or in his ear?
Listen,
That's why, he didn't get drafted. Like
and
you
by the
said,
way, he's all
the
yeah.
the
He made a
pain of
little bit of
draft,
money.
the pain of having him on your team
Yeah.
is, or the risk of having him in your team is not worth the pain of having him on your team.
But let's also not pretend everybody walks around like, oh, he's got all the money, he doesn't need it. No, he doesn't. He got some NIL money, which is fine. More money than we got, but it's chump change.
Right.
Believe me, Deshaun Watson has not played at all. Deshaun Watson is gonna make more money this year watching other people play than probably Dion might be worth. Dion didn't play back in the time
Oh,
where
no, Dion didn't make his money from
no,
football.
the guys today, the Joe Burrows, Josh Allens, sorry, Derek Carrs of the
Yeah.
world, or they're getting paid each year, multi-generational amounts of money. So
Right. And
anyway,
and it's not the first contract in football, but he did, but because people thought, like Mel Kiper thought he should have gone first. I think the difference in going in the first round and the fifth round is like, $44 million.
well, practice more next time. Just kidding. Yeah, I
Practice
know.
more,
You know what? And
talk
now
less.
I hope it blows over. I got nothing. I got
No,
nothing.
I got nothing against the
And
guy.
not I actually like Dion, but they set this up to be the villains. They did.
Yeah.
A big part of the country ended up saying, okay, this needs to be a lesson to, and I guarantee you that's going to be the funny thing. This will be a lesson to other parents, other coaches
Yeah.
with young men and young women saying, hey, listen, you got to drop the entitlement stuff. You
Right.
got to,
Because it's going to end up going from the villain to the victim.
well, whatever.
And if it does that, then that's going to even be worse for him. So,
All right. Hey, so we're gonna have to tap. We're getting out of here, guys. The one other thing I wanted to point out, and I don't think it's gonna be a story next week, but it just made me smile, laugh a little bit. Do you see where Christy Nome, who is the Secretary of DHS, right, Department of Homeland Security,
yeah.
pretty big job, pretty big job. She was at dinner with her family in D.C. I don't know if she's still married. I don't know what the situation is there. But
I
her
don't know. She
kids.
likes to look hot, though.
Yeah, she got to stop pretending that.
I'm not saying she looks hot. I'm
Yeah,
saying
just
she
stop
likes.
glamming. Yeah, stop glamming it up. Your job, like you don't belong on bust and stuff and whatever. Like I look at that sometimes. She's standing there holding a gun, or she's there with these men, and I'm like, how much time did you spend in hair and makeup today? Okay,
Yeah.
don't get me. You want to impress me? Go like you just got. Look like you went on a bus, not that you just came off the Fox News hit and now you're all right. But whatever. I'm sure she's fine. She was a good governor. Okay, but she was at dinner. She got her purse stolen. So somebody, and apparently they caught the guy, an illegal alien, by the way, an illegal alien. She's got to have Secret Service with her, man, or some kind of right.
You would think she'd have security with the level of,
Are you kidding me?
you
But
know,
So
or I guess the profile she's keeping.
she got her purse stolen. In her purse, they got her driver's license, her regular ID, $3,000
Three
in
thousand
cash,
cash.
her passport. She had her passport,
Sounds like somebody looking to skip the country.
bro, bro. But they caught the guy and they said, yeah, they're deporting his butt.
Did
So
they find the cash?
I don't know. Well, and they made it a point to point out that she had all that cash on her because she was treating her, I guess it was around Easter or something. She was treating the family to stuff, and I'm thinking, why are you carrying that much cash, man? Buying presents and stuff. I'm like, really, really? But hey, so anyway, if you're gonna steal somebody's purse, y'all, you if you steal the head of the DHS's purse, they're probably gonna spend a little time looking for
Right,
you.
especially if you're an illegal alien.
More than likely, more than likely. But anyway. The buffet is before you guys. We are going to push the button, get on out of here. See if any of this stuff stuck to the magic tape in the sky. We hope it did. If you want to reach us, not hard, Dave and Juan at protonmail.com and
And here,
here,
wherever here happens to be.
wherever you at, do this again. We'll be back there for you. Hey, every week we tell you it's not a suggestion, hint,
No,
not implying jack. Y'all, it is a hardcore
it's a freaking
freaking
mandate.
mandate that you get out there and live your best life. Take your shots. Your best life might not be somebody else's best life. And then tomorrow, maybe it will.
Look,
You know,
even Shedeur Sanders is living his best life today.
even Shedeur. Shedeur started Thursday night with his room ready to go. Everybody's leaning in on pick number 3. 3 days later. I mean, good grief.
With the 144th pick.
Yeah,
Man living his best life.
You know what? He is going to get the opportunity, hopefully, to take the lesson and go forward. And there'll be many, many good days for him. So that's what we're telling you, y'all. So whatever it is, make tomorrow a better day. All right. Until then, have a fantastic one, everybody. You guys be careful out there. And we'll get together, do this again next week. Love you, bro.
Back at you, man. So Nomad Son is on the road again. So
Road again.
been in Arkansas for a couple of months. And that's where he ultimately wants to end up. Just not ready to pull the plug on or pull the trigger on a piece of land yet. It's the right latitude and longitude, as he puts it.
Okay. Arkansas.
Yeah. So I got a call from him a couple weeks ago. Where are you? And he said, Paris. I said, Paris, Mississippi? No, Paris, France.
Paris, France.
Yeah. So over there with the wife and 2 little ones. They're on their way to Italy because he's gonna go hang out on some farm in Italy. So he has made it to Italy now. I talked to him yesterday. Living like in the foothills of the Alps, if that's even such a thing. But he sent me a picture of the snow-covered Alps in the background. And hey, not my life. I couldn't do it, but more power to him. But so when he first went, I said, "Where'd y'all fly out of?" Dallas. I said, "Well, would you just know somebody there? You parked your car there or something?" There. No, I found somebody on the next door app. Gave him a couple $100, just parked my car at their house. Said, all right, well, good luck with that.
Wow, man.
But then he also has this cat that he's very, very attached to.
I guess the cat didn't make it to
The
France.
cat's not in Paris or
Italy.
In Italy. So somebody in Little Rock has the cat. And apparently they're not, they're leaving the cat just locked up in their room for most of the day, which is stressing him out to no end. So he called me yesterday to see if I could very soon take a ride to Little Rock and pick up the cat. I said, "Oh, dude, I don't know, man."
Oh, it's
that's
like,
a haul.
son,
I'll
if you
pay for
wanted
a
me to,
hotel.
Yeah.
I said, "Well, I can't spend 2 days doing this, so I'd have to go there and back."
That's a pretty big ask, son.
Yeah.
Your cat is being housed.
Yeah.
It's not tied to a tree.
Right. It's not being, maybe it's not the social environment you want. for it. But
Now,
so,
I would drop everything and drive to pick up a grandkid
yeah,
that they told me was being kept in a room all day long, but
yeah,
it's a
but
cat.
so, and of course, yeah, you'd do it. Um, and I said, yeah, I'll figure it out. I could probably go midweek or something. I can't go like Monday or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
So he texted me last night, or I guess he forgot the time zone. He texted me at 3 o'clock this morning and said, "Oh, his brother's gonna go get it on Monday because obviously he wasn't waiting for me. Um,
Good luck.
yeah,
That's brotherly love.
yeah." So I just said, "All right, thank you, Jesus."
Man, back.
Yeah, because the whole thought is like I'm saying, okay, where would I pick it up? How would I transport it?
Back in the day, that cat would just go live on a farm, so to
Yeah,
speak.
because it's like, well, he's got a carrier, but you could just let him loose in the car. I said, no, not riding around with a cat roaming free in my car.
Au revoir, Mr.
Yeah,
Kitty.
yeah.
Not au revoir. That's
No, it's not Mr. Kitty. It's the other
well,
size
but
cat.
it's a
So
generic
yeah,
Mr. Kitty.
yeah. This kitten's named Nigel.
All right, Nigel. Nigel in Arkansas.
Yeah, Arkansas is a great place for a cat to be out in the wild.
It's over. Go home.